Okay guys, as you can see, I'm very much in the zone for Space Wolves, still trying to deliver as many videos as humanly possible for you avid Fenrisian collectors out there. We did have the Space Wolf army set. It took us a while to get our hands on that, so we were a little bit behind on the releases for it. But so far we have given you the Wolf Priest, the Wolfguard Battle Leader. We are now giving you a Headtaker. We've given you a Grey Hunter, a Dreadnought. The Wolves for the Headtaker is going to be the Patreon exclusive video this week. You will see them in this video. So if you want to finish off your Headtakers, please do make sure you go check out Patreon support over there, and then of course you'll get that extra video and I'll teach you how to paint wolves in 3 different color schemes just to make your life a little bit easier. So like I said, today is going to be focusing on the Headtaker model, the Wolfguard Headtakers, which are an incredible unit for Space Wolves. So charismatic, so awesome. The parts are amazing. I love the mix of the unit with the Space Marines and the Wolves. It's so cool. Obviously, I was so excited for all of the new Space Wolf stuff, but I really wanted to get the last bits done for the army box set before I dove into these. So with this out of the way, we will of course be moving on to the plethora of unbelievable new releases. Obviously the Terminators, Logan Grimnar, Jack Rockfist, and Stormcaller are all here and all ready. So please do let me know which one of these kits you want to see me do next in a video for you guys. Okay, that's enough yapping for me. Without further ado, let's dive in and get this Wolfguard painted. Okay, so this is the Headtaker miniature that I've decided to paint in today's video. Obviously you get 3 in a unit and another 3 with the Wolves. I do very much like, if you look at the unit entry for these guys, that the Wolves are an optional extra. You can, both of these guys have 6 of them in a unit. You don't have to take Wolves in case you want to put them in like drop pods or transports. You don't want to clog them up with Wolves. Obviously they can work as 2 separate units and stuff like that. It's a very cool, dynamic, very interesting thing. And I do like that a lot more than things like Thunder Wolves or anything like that. So I'm a big fan of this unit, and it looks spectacular. It definitely stands out from a normal kind of Grey Hunter or Bloodclaw. He definitely looks like an elite Astartes on the battlefield. So as per usual, I sprayed the model black and then sprayed it with a light grey. And now it's time to start getting the contrast color base coats on. So I started with Space Wolves Grey and applied that all over the armor panels that are supposed to be that beautiful Space Wolves blue color scheme. I then grabbed some Skeleton Horde and I applied this over the fur of this particular guy. Now, I do have this whole plan in my mind. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have done the wolves that go alongside with this unit. I've done them in 3 specific different schemes, which I will show you at the end of this video. You'll have to see what they look like. And that is a Patreon and YouTube channel member exclusive video this week. So if you are wondering how I painted them, you want to check it out for yourself and learn those techniques, then check out those links down below for channel membership and Patreon. But one of the things I'm going to do is each wolf's color scheme will reflect the Headtaker that he goes with, if that makes sense. So this guy has the kind of tan color, so the tan wolf is meant to go with him and run around, so you know kind of who belongs to whom or whatnot. I think it's kind of a cool way of doing it, and it'll make the squad look a little bit more varied. But to help tie them all together, they'll still have the same red cape and stuff like that, so which I think will work a treat. So Blood Angel's red contrast is being used here to block in the rest of their cape, not the fur part, and of course the handles of their power axes, or frost axes if you want. Black Templar was then used for a couple of details, so the kind of like power assembly bit on the power axes, all the soft seals on the armor, any like behind knee joints or behind elbow joints, that kind of soft ribbing bit that exists on Space Marine armor. You can fill that in with Black Templar contrast here. I almost painted the center of the shield black, not the center shield, the outside of the shield black as well, like I did for the Wolfguard Battle Leader. Turns out it's just the Wolfguard Battle Leader that has the kind of black shield. The standard guys have the blue shield, which I actually prefer more. I nearly did this for the Wolfguard, but I decided to keep it to what it was supposed to be. We have Wildwood now for a few extra details. The sheath of his blade and obviously the holster of his pistol. And any other kind of tassels or leather straps or anything like that holding on wolf tooth necklaces or tailed talismans or any of that kind of stuff you can do with Wildwood as well. Basilicanum Grey was used for the entire center design, the kind of stylized Crux Terminatus that they have in the center of their shields. In the artwork, it was done in like a grey scheme. If I hadn't have looked at an image of this already and copied it, I think I might have done the entire kind of crossbone section of this in bone, and then I would have done the outside bit of it, the actual Terminatus bit of it in gold. That would have been what my brain thought it might have looked like. I still hold out that might look really cool, but I decided not to do it that way. Don't ask me why. So Retributor Armor Gold was then brought in for all of the gold details, the chest ornamentation. And because this guy is an elite Space Marine, he does have quite a bit more gold to him than the standard, like I said, Grey Hunter or Blood Claw. So do pay attention to all those different details, especially his big ornate shield, some of the detailing on his axe. He's got a beautiful big back piece coming off of his power pack, which is done in gold as well. So yeah, just follow around. But like I said, there's a bunch of reference pictures for these guys online if you want to make sure you get the right bits, the right color. We then jumped over to Lead Belcher for all the other metallic bits. So the rest of the axe, the blade, the haft. So any other blades, if there's any other, like, I don't know, little bits. So like, for instance, there's two kind of teeth hanging off of off his leg brace there, his like shin brace. So the tops of those teeth and a little loop that holds them onto that brown cord get done in silver as well. So a bunch of really simple details like that to do. After that, it's time to shade the entire miniature. I like shading it with Seraphim Sepia, the entire model, head to toe, even though his head's not on right now, but we'll get to that in a bit later. This just works out really well for me. It shades the fur down really nice. It acts really nicely with the gold, the red, suits all that down to the ground. Is it the perfect shade for the blue? No. But is it a terrible shade for the blue? No, not either. So I try and pick a shade that works for the majority of colors, and then I just work up from there. When the shade is fully dry, I grabbed a little bit of Ushabti bone and I just dry brushed up the fur a little bit. Like I said, I'll go into the fur in more detail in that Patreon video if you want to check it out. After that, now we're going to go into the most tedious stage of painting these Space Wolves, and that is the layering step of the power armor. You are going to grab rust grey, a nice fine pointed brush, and some patience, and then you are going to layer up this Space Marine. Certain areas, any big flat surfaces like his big shin guards or the big flat panels on the shield and stuff will probably require 2 coats. That is this quite a weak color, not a lot of pigment in rust grey, so it comes through quite translucent. Don't try and blob it on, just get 1 coat as much as you can on the model, wait for it to fully dry and then go in with the second coat, otherwise you're going to get horrible brush strokes to it. If the first coat is all streaky, it doesn't matter, the second coat will do wonders for cleaning it up. So just take your time, and I promise you, you'll fall into a rhythm and you'll fly through getting these guys done. I really do prefer the blue shield to the black one from the Wolfguard Battle Leader. Like, so much so that as I'm watching it now and doing the voiceover, I'm tempted to go back and repaint the one on my Wolfguard blue. The baby blue scheme, like not exactly baby blue, but the off bluey grey color scheme for Space Wolves is sometimes not seem like the most intimidating color scheme. A lot of people veer away from it and they do like the dark grey scheme and stuff like that. And in the past I may have felt like that, but I do actually genuinely quite enjoy the blue color scheme of a Space Wolf. Especially when you get to the end of this video and you see what he looks like finished. I think he looks pretty gnarly. And I think it does work, so I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you agree with that? Do you think the Space Wolves are in a bit of a soft color scheme for such a powerful demeanor that they seem to have in the lore and then the tabletop? Will you be doing yours in the kind of baby blue scheme, sky blue scheme, or will you be doing yours in any of the dark grays or something else like that? While you're down there dropping those comments, please do make sure you give the video a like and make sure you're subscribed. Those few bits and pieces cost you absolutely nothing but make a huge difference as to how many people get to see these videos and how the channel grows. So thank you so much in advance for that. Okay, we have Mephiston red and we layered up the cape 1 coat. We are then going to jump up to Evil Sun Scarlet and then finally onto Wild Rider red and working up some of the detail on his short cropped kind of torn cape and the half of that power axe. It's a really nice detail on the model. It really does make him stand out, so please do think about doing that. And like, it's a cape, so you can put in as much effort as you want. But because I want the red to be the danger color, sometimes I do that a lot when I'm doing armies, where certain elite choices and like HQ units and stuff will have like an extra kind of color added into them. And it's so when you look across the sea of miniatures in the army, you know when you spot the red ones that they're dangerous. That kind of works too for my Black Templars. They, like the Sword Brethren, have a lot of red to them. So you see a sea of black and bone, but then when you see the black and red ones, you know those are the ones to watch out for. They are particularly dangerous. And I do like that as a concept. If you are also thinking about picking up any of these awesome Space Wolf releases, whether it be the Army box set, if you can still get it anywhere, or any of the individual releases and you want to save yourself some money, please do think about checking out the affiliate links that we have down below for Element Games and My Hobby Place. These are two awesome places. Element Games is if you're inside the United Kingdom, and if you're outside of the United Kingdom but inside of Europe, My Hobby Place will sort you out. Both those guys do like 20% off new releases. So you'll save yourself quite a lot of money on some of these larger box sets, or if you're buying quite a lot of miniatures, yeah, like 20% is no joke. So yeah, think about checking those out. If you do purchase anything there, you obviously get a discount and the channel gets a nice little kickback, which is just an extra nice bonus. So thank you. Okay, time to work up that nice gray bit in the center of the shield. So obviously we did Mechanicus standard gray first, and we started with a simple coat highlight on all those sections. After that, we jumped up to Dawnstone, and this is where we're going to pay much more attention to the kind of shape of the skull and do a proper highlight, making sure we're getting kind of the bridge of the nose around the eye sockets. Anywhere that kind of has some kind of provenance to it. Obviously the Crux Terminatus symbol and stuff like that. And then even now, I thought it was still just a little bit too gray. I wanted it to pop just a tiny bit more. So I grabbed Celestra Gray, and then I went in with a much lighter, finer highlight on that last section. Kind of like a touch highlight, just getting those really high points on the model. And I think this made it stand out quite nicely. Like I said, originally, I think I still would have gone for like the bone color in the center, like the skull and crossbones in the middle in bone, and the obviously the Crux Terminatus symbol around that in gold. I think that would have stood out really nicely. If I have one spare somewhere, maybe I'll paint one up and see what it looks like. After that, I grabbed some lead belcher and I started highlighting all of the metallics across this miniature. That is all the gold and all the silver sections. Going for a nice little kind of scratchy highlight slash little bit of a dry brush across anywhere where there's a nice bit of detail. This will make all those bits pop, and it looks really, really nice. Like I said, Space Wolves are not, they're not blood angels. They're kind of metallics and stuff are not like, they're not artisans, if you know what I mean. So having a little bit more rough and ready equipment, I think suits their style a little bit more. Okay, with that done, it was time to get this guy onto his proper base. And I know this looks like I'm being quite aggressive, but this guy only has a very small touch of super glue underneath his feet. So I slid a clippers underneath it, and as you squeeze, obviously the clippers is designed to go in, so it just makes the model pop off the base. After that, we added some more super glue to his feet and pressed him firmly into the bases that I did previously in a video, where I showed you where I got all the bases ready for this box set. Super glued him into the place where I wanted him to go, and then obviously he has some kind of stonework on his feet, so I spent a little bit of time layering that up. This is just a little bit of Mechanicus Standard Gray again, and doing a little bit of a touch highlight around those rocks, like I said, helping it blend into the other stonework that exists on the base already. After that, we added some more textured snow to this base. I deliberately went light on the snow when I was doing the original basing video, knowing that I would be applying more when the miniature was actually attached, helping to fill in some gaps and make the model kind of blend in with the base a little bit better. After that, I get my face that I have painted separately. I plan to do an entire video where I paint up like 30 faces in one video and show you how I paint Space Wolves faces. I think that would be very, very cool to show you guys, because I'm decided to give every single Space Wolf model in my entire army no helmet. So look out for that video in the near future where I'll be painting up 1 million Space Wolf faces in one go. It would take too much time to add it all into this one video. So cut it out, cleaned up that neck joint and glued the guy into place. And that gave me my finished Wolf Guard Headtaker. I think he looks so cool, so Space Wolfy and so gnarly. I'm very excited by the fact that none of them will have helmets, because I think that adds that extra element of kind of savagery and wildness. Very Viking-esque, which I think the Space Wolves should have that feel to them. And like I said, here is some individual photos of this guy. I took quite a lot of photos. I wanted to show you what he looks like, and also what he looks like next to those wolves that I did for that Patreon video. So if that's something that interests you, like I said, that'll all be linked down below. I do need your help deciding what to do next for the Space Wolf playlist. So please let me know if it's Logan Grimnar, if it's Terminators, Najal Storm, Collarjar, Rockfist. Which one of those things do you want to see for my next Space Wolf video? It will probably be later this week. So the quicker you tell me, the quicker I can start organizing and getting that ready. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.